All right, and now we move to the main card with the first fight we're breaking down on the podcast being in the UFC's flyweight division between top 15 ranked contenders. You've got the number 8 ranked Rogerio Bontorin, who comes into this fight with a record of 17 victories, 4 defeats, and 1 no contest, going up against the number 14 ranked guy who kind of got off on a little bit of a rough patch in the UFC, some questionable decision losses to Mateus Nicolau and Alexandre Pantoja. Not bad to lose to those guys at all. Definitely great competition. And the number 14 ranked Manel Starboy Kape, or Starboy Manel Kape. I believe it goes first before his name. So Starboy Manel Kape ranked 14, coming into the fight with a record of 17 victories and 6 defeats, going up against the number 8 ranked Rogerio Bontorin. I like this fight. I think this can be a tricky fight this weekend where you look at the odds for the fight, and let's see what the UFC has them priced at currently. You've got Bontorin as a plus 180 underdog to minus 220 for Manel Kape. I think that's a little high for Manel. I do think that he's coming off 2 back-to-back knockouts against Ode Osborne with that flying knee at the end of the first round, and then obviously that KO over Zalgas Zumagulov. That was a great win for him, and it really kind of showed that he's arrived in the UFC after, like I said, some questionable decision losses to Nicolau and also the UFC debut against Alexandre Pantoja. A lot of people are very high on Manel Kape. Manel has been around for a long time, competed in Ryzen. I believe he's a Ryzen champion. He's got 11 wins coming by way of KO, 5 submissions, and 1 decision. So out of 17 wins, 16 victories are via decision. He's got 6 losses, 4 by decision, 2 of them coming in the UFC, and then 2 losses via submission, but never been knocked out before. I don't expect Rogerio Bontorin to be the guy who knocks him out either, but you never know. It could happen. It's the UFC. And Bontorin does carry some heavy power in his hands. He's got a really solid right hand. We saw him land it against Brandon Royval in his last fight. Really solid right hand, just pop, pop, boom, pop, pop, pop. He can pair it up with a left hook into the right hand, the 3-2, or follow it up with use the jab to set it up and then come down the middle. You saw against Zumagulov with Manel Kape that he can get hit by those straight punches, the straight right as he throws a low kick, but he can come back and counter you on your own low kick like he did against like he did against Zalgas with a left hook into a right hand. I think that we know the path of victory for both of these guys. If it stays on the feet, I expect Manel Kape to run away with it. I think it would be close early because Bontorin, like I said, he's not incompetent when it comes to the striking on the feet. He's got decent distance management, good 1-2s, a solid right hand that's probably his best shot. He does wing some of his punches, but if he can set you up with that 1-2, he packs some power in it. He hurt Brandon Royval with it. I think that he's got power to land on the chin of Manel and hurt him. But like we said, Manel has never been knocked out before. So I don't think it would have enough power to put him out. But maybe it could stun him and then open up the takedowns, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and wrestling game for Bontorin, which is exactly where he wants to get this fight. Out of 16 victories for Rogerio Bontorin, 11 come by way of submission. So if he's going to win this fight, it's going to be in the grappling aspect. He's going to look to get in on the hips of Manel Kape and get to the body lock and work those trips, inside and outside trips, to bring you one way and then drag you back the opposite direction. Quick change of direction to an outside trip. He's going to be looking to get Manel Kape to the ground and work his outstanding, stellar top game grappling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. When he gets on top of you, he doesn't give you a whole lot of space. But the only problem with a guy like Bontorin is, let's say Manel Kape's piecing him up on the feet, landing his combinations, constantly changing his stances, straight left hand, 1-2, left hand, right hook, right uppercut, left hook, boom, 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 and he switches to orthodox, bop, 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 bop. If he's landing good shots on the feet the whole round and Bontorin takes him down and controls him but doesn't do a lot of damage, they're not really rewarding a lot of grappling when it comes to not getting any damage off, not really advancing position, and not really going for a finish. You've seen that more and more recently in the UFC, where some people believed certain fighters should have won a decision, but they didn't do enough on the ground in order to make that a reality. I think that it could be a factor of Manel Kape could get caught in a submission by Bontorin. He's a great grappler. He's a dangerous, dangerous guy. You saw what he did to Kai France before he got knocked out. He was immediately able to shoot in on one of his punches, take the back, jump to the backpack position, body triangle him, get him to the ground, almost lock up a rear naked choke, switching from side to side, constantly switching between, the different areas, going to the left, switching back, going to the right, switching the grips, going back and forth, working to the top position. And once you got him on your back, I mean, it's not an easy guy to get off of you. He is a dangerous competitor. And like I said, not incompetent on the feet either. I could see one of the right hands of Bontorin stunning Manel Kape on the feet. He's got power. His technique is decent, but I don't think he's going to want to play around in the stand-up game with Manel Kape for too long. When you look at Manel, they both have an equal height at 5'5", and Manel has a 1-inch reach advantage. But let's look at the takedown defense, because I think that could be an issue here for Manel. Overall, he's got an 80% takedown defense, 60% takedown accuracy for Rogerio Bontorin. I mean, I don't necessarily think that Bontorin is going to get Manel Kape to the ground a bunch throughout the fight, but I do expect at least one takedown to come through for Bontorin. And the problem is, can one takedown from Rogerio Bontorin be enough to take the back, get to the back, work the ground and pound, and set up a submission? He might only need one, to set it up. And I mean, we looked throughout Manel Kape's record. He's never been knocked out, but he has been submitted twice. Those submission losses came by way of a arm triangle choke from Kyoji Horiguchi, and then also let's see. It said he had another loss via submission, but I don't see it on here. Arm triangle choke. A rear naked choke. Okay, so he lost to rear naked choke back in April of 2014. So he can get submitted. He has been submitted before, but I definitely think that it's not going to be an easy avenue for Bontorin to get to. But I think that if he's going to win this fight, he has to work the grappling. He has to get to the top position. He has to flow from position to position. He's very good at following your hips and floating from mount to back mount, back to the mount, to half guard. The getting off on the angle to try to work the armbar. If that doesn't work, he goes back to your back, locks in the body triangle, works the ground and pound, tries to get the rear naked chokes. I mean, that's where he's going to win this fight. If it stays on the feet for too long, I do think Starboy is going to light him up into outer space. He's got the name Starboy. I think this guy can be a star in the UFC's flyweight division. Like I said, he's lost twice via submission, but he also has 5 submissions of his own right on his record, but I don't expect him to get a submission over Rogerio Bontorin. I think that on the feet, we know Manel Kape, man. He's constantly changing from orthodox to southpaw to orthodox. When he set up that flying knee with Ode Osborne, he was switching orthodox to southpaw, straight left, boom, switching back to orthodox, switch to southpaw, boom, came up the middle with a knee as Ode Osborne changed levels. Caught him on the chin, dropped him, put him out. The whole round was pretty close. I think O'Day was probably keeping him at range a little bit more than he would have liked, and he was starting to pick it up. But, in the blink of an eye, Manel Kape put his lights out. Against Zhalgas Zhumagulov, I mean, he got hurt on the feet. Zhumagulov landed one of those winging shots that we talked about before on the podcast, stumbled him, tried to close the show. Manel switched orthodox, boom, left hook, right hand, dropped him, jumped on him, and put together a 7-10 or a 10 to 15 punch combo up against the cage. 1, 2, 3, right uppercut, right hook, boom, 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 boom. It was like a Street Fighter combo. The more punches you landed, the more points you were getting, and the more tokens that were going into your wallet. I mean, that's the guy that Manel Kape is. He's a volume guy, but he's got power, and he's got the explosiveness to put you out with one shot. We haven't seen it much in the UFC, but he's gotten 2 finishes back-to-back after 2 lackluster performances, and one fight that many people believed he could have won against Nicolau, and then a close fight against Pantoja, who's a veteran in the UFC, in the UFC's flyweight division. But he came up in a losing effort as well. But it wasn't as close as the Nicolau fight, but still. But he's living up to the name of Starboy, and he's living up to the hype that he had before he got into the UFC when he was over in Rizin, more and more and more throughout his UFC career. And I think that when it comes to breaking down the winner of this fight, I think it's going to play out very similar to the Kaikar France Rogerio Bontorin fight. I think Bontorin's going to get in close to him, not right away, maybe like a minute into the first round, take him down, work the back control. But I think Manel is going to have enough defense and defensive responsibility to avoid any potential submission attempts. He's going to, kind of work on him for a couple minutes on the ground. He's going to get back up to the feet. He's going to instantly start moving forward, in and out movement, switching his stances. Boom, jab, 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 left hook, switch stance, southpaw, straight left. 1-2, right hook, straight left. 1-1-2, switch back, orthodox. Fake the flying knee, switch back. He's going to constantly be switching, kind of getting Rogerio Bontorin off his game. He's going to land a shot up top. I think he's going to land the 1-2, follow up with the uppercut. He's going to hurt him, get on that combination with the volume, just pop, 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 and then he's going to hurt him, jump on him, and get the finish. I think it's going to be a death via accumulation and death by volume for Manel Kape here, and I'm going to go with Starboy Manel Kape to defeat Rogerio Bontorin via a second-round TKO, death by volume. And you look at the odds for this fight, like I said, I believe we already touched on it. Manel Kape is a minus 220 favorite to a plus 180 dog for the number 8 ranked Rogerio Bontorin. I think the odds are decent, but I think it should be a little bit closer. I would price Manel around a minus 180 and then maybe come back on Bontorin at a plus 150, plus 160, somewhere around there. I think that's a better line. I think minus 220 is a little steep considering how Manel started his UFC career, but he is hot, he is heavy, and he is working his way back up to become the guy that everybody knew and the guy that had all this hype outside of the UFC. But I am going to ride with Starboy here to get another finish and make it 3 in a row in his UFC career, improving to 18-6.